Velkommen til cigarshop.dk og Spændende Cigars månedlige YouTube-video. Vi er jo nået til februar måned nu. I kan høre, jeg er lidt hæs, tænker jeg. Jeg har ligesom alle andre været nede med noget sygdom her inden for den sidste uges tid. Men vi skal selvfølgelig være klar til at optage den her video. Og værsgo og kør intro. Today we have Daniel with us.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice to finally to have you here. We've been talking about it some months now.
We have.
You work from Månedens of Copenhagen.
I do. Yeah, I've been working there for just over 6 months now.
And if you guys don't know this company, it's a menswear clothing company here, based here in Copenhagen.
Yeah. Exactly.
So welcome, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'll get back to you in a moment because we have to talk a little about cigars before we move on. As you can see, if you are normally watching this program, you can see there's not a lot of boxes on the table today. And that's because I took the wrong bag at the office and there was not the boxes that I needed for today's show, and I didn't have time to go back and get the right boxes. But luckily enough, I had exactly 2 of the cigar that I was planning that we should smoke today.
Great.
So that's standing right here. But I can explain about the other cigars that you are going to have. It's going to be AJ Fernandez San Latano 6x60. I know that's a little too big ringers for you, Daniel, but and then we're going to have the Rocky Patel Mareva size. That's the competition cigar of the Cigar Smoking World Championship. And for the gold members, you will have another favorite of yours, the Oliva CAV Lancero. And then there will be 2 other cigars for the black members that I actually have no clue what I put in the bag. Because I did it Monday to be prepared for today, because normally we're a little tired on Wednesdays because sometimes we have like long Tuesdays.
Yeah, 1 or 2 beers in Musen.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's always the late beers.
It is.
It's not early beers, right? So
exactly.
So I can't remember what I put in for the black members, so that's very embarrassing. But you will see when you got them in the beginning of next week. But most important that you're here, Daniel.
I am.
And as you can hear, of course, we are doing this show in English because Daniel is from UK.
Yes, I'm from the north of England, so excuse the accent.
Sunderland?
Yes.
And you came here I know, because we had a little celebration months ago. But
yeah, so I arrived at the beginning of January, spent 6 months waiting for my visa. Yeah, beginning of January 2022. Spent 6 months waiting for my visa and then began working in Copenhagen. Yeah.
And we are happy to have you here because you've been like a normal member of the cigar club, almost like several days a week. Actually,
yeah,
like me.
Yes.
I guess sometimes you are even here more than I am. So.
Well, I would never like to claim that title for me, but yes, I do thoroughly enjoy smoking cigars, and I'm very glad to be here as well.
And we are going to talk about, of course, about menswear.
Yes.
Because that's where your expertise lies.
That is my forte.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to talk about it. When we say gentleman, a British gentleman, there's some accessories that you need. You need like a fancy suit.
Always, of course.
Tailor-made or bespoke, if possible.
Yes, if possible by your bank account.
Yes, exactly. But now this is actually my first from Månedens of Copenhagen, and I can say I'm very satisfied with the results.
Yes, and I remember designing it with you. I think some great choices. It looks excellent.
Perfect.
And it fits very well.
Yes,
not to claim all the credit for that, but it was me.
I've been like by many tailors during the time.
Yeah.
especially because I'm a little bigger than normal people. So
well, I hadn't noticed.
So that's why, you know, at some point I needed like some tailor-made clothes. So,
of course.
So that's why I went to you. But before we talk more about that, so another accessory is of course a cigar for a British gentleman, right?
What else?
So this month's cigar that we're gonna smoke is the competition cigar that we used at the Cigar Smoking World Championship. Come in these small boxes. Normally there's 10 cigars in a box. And as you can see, there is exactly 2 in this. And that's where we were very lucky.
Well, they look amazing.
So as you can see here, with the Cigar Smoking International logo on the box. And it actually comes in different sizes. But the Mareva size is the competition size. So this is the actual cigar you get at the Cigar Smoking World Championship.
Right.
And as people that follow me know that normally we should have this event the 4th of March.
Yes.
But due to some problems with the venue that we are gonna hold it in, we have to postpone it until the 12th of August.
Yeah, more time to practice.
More time to practice, and that's exactly what we're gonna do now.
Yes.
Because let's open this. This is, of course, in the shop for a very fair price. I think it's like 75.
Oh, couldn't imagine a fairer price.
So, and I know you love this ring gauge.
Yes, I do. Nice and slim.
Because you prefer normally like zeros.
Yes.
And I know you smoke a lot now the Oliva.
Yes.
And before that also, what's the other one? It was the Grand Cafe, of course.
The Grand Cafe.
Yeah.
And the Mab. My favorite, reasonably priced Lanceros.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is also, it's like a little, almost the same, little, maybe 2 millimeters thicker than the
42.
Lanceros. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So it's a perfect size for you, this one.
Yeah, it is.
And I noticed you smoking during the last year, and I know you, that you're actually a good slow smoker.
Yes, or at least I was.
At least you was.
At least I was. I was before, and then I started smoking more. And in order to smoke more, unfortunately, one also has to smoke faster. So
yes. That's like how you schedule your evening.
Exactly.
You have to smoke 2 cigars, then you have to like smoke a little faster if you don't have like 6 hours.
Exactly. So yes, the slow smoking. I'm quite glad the World Championship's been pushed back because it's something I'm going to have to rehearse a little. I am slightly out of practice in that area.
Well, I was never in practice of that because I'm not a very good slow smoker. Well, you have your own.
I do.
You have your Dunhill, of course.
Yes.
Another
Dunhill
gentleman
Lagers,
accessory.
18 karat plated, essential.
And you got that from was it from your grandfather or your dad? Or?
This is from my great uncle. My great grandfather used to own a tobacconist in the UK, and this belonged to him. And then that company, alongside all of his tobacco paraphernalia, was passed along to my great uncle, who then very kindly gave this to me recently. So an absolute everyday essential, carry it with me everywhere. I think every man should have one, and it's great.
It's perfect for
the
British,
slimmer cigars.
British gentleman.
And a real man's lighter.
And I'm sitting here with my 5-jet Rocky Patel lighter, which actually also became quite popular.
Yes.
But for this ring gauge, you have to be really careful.
You do. You don't want to burn the tobacco too much.
Exactly, and spare the wrapper. But actually, this there's been like 3 different competition cigars during the years. Started as a Monte Cristo number 4, and moved on to a cigar from the Scandinavian Tobacco Group, and now it's the last. I think it's now 4 years. It's been this cigar.
Yeah, well, this is actually my first time smoking it.
It's a nice San Andreas wrapper.
Yeah.
So it has a quiet taste of the traditional San Andreas, like coffee and cedar.
Yeah. Well, certainly the first puff is very nice. Quite soft, as you would expect from something so small, but well, very much to my taste.
Another accessory for a British gentleman.
Absolutely essential, yes. We love appropriating French culture in the UK, and there is no better incarnation of that trend than champagne.
Oh yes. There's something with you and the French, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Danish and the Swedish, I think.
It very much is. Thank you.
There you go. And of course, as a gentleman, we should offer something to the beautiful girl behind the camera.
Well, thank you very much.
Here you go. And you put it on there. Oh, yeah. Normally we are talking about alcohol in this program, so this is
yes.
I think it's the first program in like a half a year where we don't talk about alcohol, but that doesn't mean we can't drink it.
Exactly, and also doesn't mean that we can't talk about how delicious I'm sure this is going to be. Cheers.
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 Oh, that is very good.
It's like the first sip of champagne is also always very special.
Yes. Much like the first puff of a cigar, a moment to be savoured.
Now we used our fancy lighters, lighting this up.
Yeah.
At the championship, you only have like 2 matches.
Yes.
And you have 1 minute to cut it and 1 minute to light it up. And you can, if you only have the 2 matches, so and you cannot relight it, of course, during the smoke.
Yeah.
And you can actually not talk. It's the first, I can't remember, it's the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something. No talking. Because you will also see when if you start practicing, because you can practice, of course, alone.
Yeah.
But if you practice together, because you're gonna sit together with other people at the competition, and people will talk to you. You can of course say, "Shut up."
Yeah.
And actually, the guys who go in for the win will say, "Shut up." They will be in the zone, because they will use 4 hours, up to 4 hours, for this small cigar.
Phenomenal.
But I will say that the record is a couple of years ago now, and it's not been close for some while now. But you should go to like 2.5 hours to 3 hours to be in the final last people in the group.
Yes. Well, I'll give it a try. I think it's going to require a few more attempts than just this one to get there. But
oh yes, it will.
We're on the right track.
At least in Denmark, it's not. I don't remember what he might. It was Michael Iversen, the other also British gentleman we have in the cigar club. If you heard about him or saw him, I think it was close to. It was around 2 hours, 1 hour and 50 minutes or something.
Right.
That was last year. So it's within the reach if you work a little bit on it.
Yeah.
But you have to practice a little bit.
Yes.
And have the patience. And there's some tips that also can help you. But now I can say I'm the man behind the event, so I don't have to participate.
Yeah.
Because I tried a couple of times and that was not very successful.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad to be the host of the event every year.
Yes.
So last year was my first year, and I think it was a fantastic event with very nice food and.
I think I met you just shortly after the event, and I was very sad not to have gone. But
you definitely
this year,
have to come the 12th of August.
Yes.
It's actually on the date on my birthday this year.
Oh.
But it was the only day that was available.
That's perfect.
So there was nothing to do about it.
We just need to make sure not to have too much alcohol before the smoking starts.
Yes, I did that last year.
That will ruin the competition.
Yes, that's true.
Or it might make the competition more fun, but it'll certainly ruin my chances of winning it.
if like I had too much alcohol or you had too much alcohol?
Me mostly.
Oh, okay.
I don't think your consumption would affect my smoking pace.
But you never know.
Maybe if you keep talking to me, maybe if you...
So that was actually I was trying to say before that I saw at competitions like people that lost the concentration because they were talking to other people.
Yes.
And then the next puff they took, the cigar was out.
Disaster.
And that was actually like after 15, 20 minutes.
Oh dear.
And people who thought like, oh, it's going very well, and then they start talking. You know, so you actually have to be pretty focused.
Yeah.
Of course, you can still talk to the other people, but you have to pay attention to a cigar because when it's out, and yeah, your chance is 1 year ahead to do it again.
Yeah.
Well, cheers out there.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And is it right that you can't ash it for the first 30 or 40 minutes? What's
40 minutes. It's actually okay, but the last 5-10 minutes is a little like you're sitting there like...
Yeah.
But you closer you get to the 40 minutes, you smaller penalty, of course, you get.
Right.
So, you know, but if you ash after 20 minutes, the penalty will be quite severe.
Yeah.
To your final time.
I can imagine.
So there's a different stuff. Also, there will be a competition ring on it.
Yes.
It will be a little further down than this is on this actually cigar, and it will be measured really precisely on all cigars, so it's exactly the same place. And you can of course not remove that.
Yes.
Somebody did that 1 year. I'm not gonna name any names. It was not me though.
Well, that's good.
But you know, some people have traditions, like when they have a cigar. Some people just starting removing the band. So that was like a built thing. So he just removed it, and then like fuck. Then he was out of the competition before it started. So, but
catastrophe.
So you cannot burn. Also get penalty if you burn a ring.
Yeah.
So the good, where you know the skilled smokers, they can actually suck the glow long under the ring to get extra time also.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
And they also have this technique where they move the glow around. Because if you just smoke it normally as we do now, you don't stand a chance.
Yes.
You will maybe smoke it in 1.5 hours if you smoke very slowly.
Yes.
So you have to move the glow around. That requires a technique you have to teach or learn. And of course, then the next thing you have to do is that to have a special blow to get the smoking beneath the ring. So that's some of the techniques that you have to work on if you want to go like beyond 1.5 hours.
Yeah, complex stuff.
And the winnings at the final in Split, actually, the final will be the first weekend of September in Split.
Right.
If you win, you get a ticket for that weekend, everything paid. And but what was I saying with that? So that's going to be 3 weeks after our competition.
Right.
And we're going to be the last competition in the world. There will be normally around 40 competition in the US, Asia, whatever. And we're going to be the last one. So I guess there will be a lot of people from other countries as well, because this is going to be the last chance to qualify or make a good time in real competition.
Yes.
And Copenhagen is a really easy place to go to.
Definitely.
We have direct flights to most of the world. So, so I think it's going to be a fantastic show this year.
Definitely.
And we have maximum capacity of 120 people. So it's also going to be one of the biggest shows in the world. I think we're going to be the 3rd biggest or something.
Right.
So, and then we're going to do it also, the qualifying for the Swedish qualifying as well. So they have their own small pre-competitions, but the real qualifier is going to be with us.
Right. Interesting.
What do you think of the cigar so far? If we just think of it as a normal cigar, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. My ability to detect certain notes isn't as good as it really should be after smoking for a couple of years, but it tastes nice. It's not as strong as most from Rocky Patel, which I do appreciate because I do like a softer cigar. I'm finding it very pleasant. There's nothing really to object to. It's got the standard tobacco, peppery, coffee notes, but they are much softer than some that I've tried, which is good.
Yeah, it's a very pleasant cigar. So, you know, now it's the competition cigar, but it's actually a cigar that very smokable just for a normal evening.
Definitely.
And also because it has a little, so if you're sitting, let's say, downstairs at the Mouse, you know, with some smoke in the room and some beers or whatever, it can compete with all the
Definitely. You need something with a little bit of spice to cut through.
Yeah.
I do find that sometimes if I'm smoking one of the lighter Lanceros at the end of the evening, I might as well just be sucking on a straw of air because you can't taste it. Whereas something like this could definitely cut through and compete with a busy room full of smoke.
Some people start with the nice cigar, and then they end with the cheap bottle cigar for 28 krona in the last hours of the evening.
Yes, I remember actually my second night at Moosin made the mistake of committing to the Big Johnny about an hour before I wanted to go home. And I did not end up going home an hour after. I think it was about 4 hours.
I would really like to see you smoking a Big Johnny.
Yeah, I know. It took an incredibly long time because that's back when I was a very slow smoker.
Okay.
And I didn't really enjoy it either. So I just thought, I've paid for this cigar. I need to smoke it. But after an hour, 30 minutes even, it stopped being pleasant.
It's a funny thing about the big, large ring age cigars, because they actually had, like, when I started a cigar business, they were just coming on the market.
Yeah.
And very popular in the whole world. And then it kind of took off a little bit, like, down. And now it's back because I sell a lot of big ring age cigars.
Yeah.
And even the Big Johnny, who's a really big motherfucker.
Definitely.
I sell a lot of those.
Yeah.
So today, people comes by the office, buy whole boxes, and you know, it's crazy. But
definitely.
But you can also say that it's a lot of value for money because you have 2.5 hours of smoke, at least.
Yeah.
And it's 130 kroner. So
definitely.
So if you look at that, it's also economic. Thing.
It is, and I think honestly that's the reason that I bought it the first time. Luckily, I've become a little more selective in my choice, and now if I can't smoke something that I like, I just won't smoke something. But yes, I think the economic argument's very strong for the bigger cigars because the tobacco per krona is much better value than especially some of my favorite Cuban vitolas like the Capitolos, and just all the nice small ring gauges. They're incredibly expensive.
Yeah, just
tobacco cost.
Just today when this program is taped, we actually 1st of February today, and Habanos' new price list is effective from today.
Yeah.
And I just said earlier today, corrected the prices on my on Cigar Shop.
Oh dear.
And it's crazy. It's really crazy. Even the normal, what we call the normal day go-to Cuban cigars are now close to 200.
Yeah.
And I had some old prices on the Trinidad's, and that's because it's been sold out on my website for a long time. I have them, but I only sell them in boxes, and I have people overbidding, so they want to pay more than the real price.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't have them on the website. But today I had to get the right prices at least, even though they are like out of stock.
Yes.
So you can see the old price on the Tropez was 139, and now it's I think it was around 400.
Wow. That's
so that's what happens in half a year.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. I think I'll be saying goodbye to my little Partagas and Romeo and Julieta, the half Coronas that I like, because
I was just looking. I have the Partagas shorts.
Yes.
I think they're around 90.
Yeah.
Is that too expensive?
It's not too expensive, but it's certainly more expensive
than
it was.
You can almost get a Oliva Lancero for that price.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's like double the size.
Exactly. So in terms of the value, even I will be switching to slightly larger Vitolas, which will be a difficult sacrifice, but I'm sure I'll survive it.
So I just picked up this suit 1 week ago in your shop here in Copenhagen. Can you tell us a little about the month of Copenhagen? You've been working there for how long now?
So I've been working there for 6 months. I started in May, so maybe around 6 months. I've not exactly counted. The concept is tried and true, made to measure, custom tailoring, whatever you want to call it. But we do have a slight twist where all of our consultations have a 3D body scan. The reason that we do this is primarily so that we can collect data to make sure that whatever fits we're giving people is sort of within a range that we would expect for someone with their height, shape, weight, these sorts of things. Because of course, you can look at someone, measure them with a tape measure and predict what they might like. But the 3D body scan just allows us a certain degree of precision, and it allows us to figure out a normative range for what people of a certain height or weight might want to buy, might want their suits to fit like.
So then you've been in the body scan, so we know exactly what jacket to find.
Exactly, exactly. It speeds up the process as well in that way. And then eventually we're hoping that it can be that you will just type in your height and weight into the computer, and then it will predict your sizes for you, and the salesperson will not have to do any of the measuring. And then maybe we'll just check what the computer says rather than taking the primary burden of the measuring on the salesperson. It'll be much more algorithm based, leading to more accurate results, faster turnaround times, these sorts of things. Yeah, and then after the measuring, fairly similar to the way that most made-to-measure or custom tailoring works, afterwards you go through some fabrics. We've over 11,000 choices in the store. I know Jesper and I today are actually both wearing cloth from the same book. It is Hardy Minnis Worsted All Sport. You can just zoom in on the label there.
True.
Yes, Worsted All Sport 2. One of my favourite books for cloth. Very soft, very functional, very comfortable, nice and heavy, keeps you warm in the winter. So I knew that Jesper wanted some sort of a tweed beforehand, so it was a fairly easy choice, and I think I was even wearing a suit. I was wearing this suit when we first discussed him being measured, so fairly obvious which book I would go to. And then after that you talk about what type of pockets you want, what type of lapels and buttons you want. Standard options, but of course you can deviate from the standard options. I know everything on Jesper's suit is very classic and quite simple, but we do have customers that have special requests for their suits, and we are also capable of accommodating that. I know I've been known around the store, been sort of infamous for making some silly design choices on my suits, putting strange pockets on.
Well, I'm a simple man. Thank you,
yes,
Daniel.
I know, and well, simplicity is a good thing, to be honest.
Yes.
And frankly, when I look at my wardrobe some mornings, I wish it were a little more simple.
But you also find what do you call it, second hand or?
I do, yes. I've got quite a lot of vintage suits. I don't think I'm wearing anything vintage today. Everything is Mond.
Okay.
But I do wear a lot of vintage. It's very good value. You can get some things that they don't make anymore, which is
if you have
nice.
like a normal body.
Yes.
Right,
that is
because I cannot go to a vintage store and find anything.
True.
So, but if you have like a normal fit.
Especially
that's a
if
good
you're
idea
a smaller
because
guy.
you can really get some nice suits, and some of them are actually just from Savile Row.
Yes, I've got one. I've got one from 1942 from Savile Row, which fits almost as if it were made for me. Yeah. It's great.
And you got that for? Can you?
Oh, I think that was probably less than £100, less than 1,000 kroner. Maybe about 700-800 kroner.
And that's a real tailor-made suit from Savile Row.
Yes, from 1942.
You saved a lot of money.
A lot of money. Yeah. Yeah, I probably paid 5% of what it's worth. Yeah.
Where did you find that in the UK or in Denmark?
Yes, I found that in the UK just over 18 months ago now. And I just found it in a furniture auction, actually. Wow. Some poor chap had died, his family didn't know what to do with his clothes. They were selling his furniture on an auction website, and then I looked at it, in with all of his furniture. Lo and behold, there was a beautiful box filled with old tailored suits. Fuck. And I bought them all.
Fuck. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, what I found.
I know, it was incredible.
But now you're doing it yourself.
Yes, exactly.
It also looks very good on you.
Well, thank you.
Suit. I love this. I need to get. I don't know why I love this so much.
Yeah.
I need to get some pads next time.
Yes, we'll definitely do that next time.
Just a small pad.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the nice things about Mond clothing is even the slightly more structured shoulders that we do are still very soft. All of the clothing is very soft, very wearable, very comfortable. It's not like the sort of old military style that lots of people associate tailored clothing with. It's all very comfortable, which it needs to be in order for our customers to actually want to wear it.
Yeah, I just remembered. I have to say this before I forget, but we actually have put an event together, the 1st of April.
Yes.
I can't even remember what day is that. Is that
It should be a Saturday.
It's a Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are listening to this or you are in Copenhagen the 1st of April, send me a message if you want to go to the event at Mond. It's not required that you buy anything, but of course that's the goal, of course, to get you measured. And some people just buy a shirt the first time or whatever. But so it's not like you have to go there and spend 6,000 or 7,000 on a suit. But
we prefer it if you do.
Of course, and you will be happy to do it because it's really nice to have a suit that sits perfect on you.
Definitely.
And the quality is very, very good. So 1st of April, and then normally also we have sushi and we have all the beers you can drink.
Yes.
So last time we were 7 or 8. We hope maybe to get like 10 people this time.
Yeah.
So we just sit around, the guys just waiting, drinking beer, have some sushi, and having some fun.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, and then of course we go here afterwards to smoke cigars. So let me know out there if you are interested in, if you were not in Copenhagen, coming to Copenhagen that weekend, or if you are regular here and you didn't hear about it, let me know if you want to come that day.
Yeah, and then I think we'll probably finalize more information about the time and stuff closer to the date. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun event. Hopefully a few more people than last time would be great. And we may try and source some whiskey and some wine as well to spice things up a little, because you can have as much Tuborg as you want in Musen, so why not go for some
You just whiskey. Told me the other day you had whiskey.
Yes, we did.
I was there for like 3 hours and I didn't know you had whiskey.
I know, because I think I was busy measuring some of the people. I completely slipped my mind, but yes, there will be whiskey. And Dennis Skeum, who I'm sure you all know, he has drank some of it. Don't tell anyone. He has drank some of it, and I'm sure he can give some great reviews.
So you can't remember which whiskey is actually?
I can't, unfortunately. I think it's in a decanter, so it's difficult to. It's not got a label on it. Yeah,
okay.
It's in a glass decanter.
And it's probably a cheap one if you put it in a decanter to like hide. That's it's a cheap whiskey.
That might be the case. I didn't buy it. I don't know. I wouldn't say that's an impossibility though.
Now we're close to halfway the cigar. How long
I
are
think
we
so.
in the program?
40 minutes.
40 minutes? Oh, okay. So actually, I already asked mine 1 or 2 times already, but you see 40 minutes now, 40 minutes more, so it's what I said earlier, and if the band is a little closer to the foot, to the head,
it's about an hour
1.5. It's like standard smoking.
Yeah. So I really need to up my game for the competition if I'm going to have any chance. Because I think I actually noticed 20 minutes ago or so I was smoking it even faster than you, and I had to pace myself, which is why I've forced myself to just put it down and stare at it so that I can make sure it's not going out.
I remember when I was rehearsing the first times for some years ago, I actually have my iPhone, and then when I had a small puff and put it down on the ashtray, then I started it, and I see how many minutes between the puffs I could go. So it's like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and see how far I could push it. But the thing is, with this cigar, it's also a little unreliable.
Yeah.
So suddenly it's out.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to be very careful. You have to actually, it's not allowed to feel the glow anymore. In the beginning, you could sit and like feel how much the glow was burning.
Yeah.
Because now I can feel there's a lot of fire in the glow right now.
Yes.
So I can have this 3 minutes at least in the ashtray.
Yeah.
But that's not allowed anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, people are watching the smoke, it's still smoking.
Yes.
Still smoking coming out, okay, still alive, and then it takes small puffs. Not too much, just enough to keep it alive.
Yeah.
And about staying alive.
Yes. We
Chop
need
up
to
with the
stay
champagne.
hydrated. Absolutely
There you go.
essential.
Still have over there. There you go. So how can you tell us a little about, so I was actually curious because people use different terms about tailor-made, bespoke. What is the difference between the two terms, tailor-made and bespoke?
So tailor-made is more of a blanket term that would include bespoke and made to measure or custom, which is where Månedens sits. Made to measure and custom is probably the best value for money, because you get, usually at least from Månedens, you get the same selection of fabrics, the same or at least a very similar fit in the end, not vastly different. If the salesperson knows what they're doing, they can fit you very well, but it's not completely handmade. There are elements of the suit that will be assembled by machine, sometimes with adhesive fusings to keep things together, and then sometimes with machine stitching. This is where the difference comes in with bespoke. Bespoke is always completely hand constructed, which some would argue leads to a slightly more flexible and perhaps slightly more durable garment, which maybe looks a little bit more handmade. Some people like that, some people don't. And then another difference is with made to measure, as you'll remember from being measured, you start out in a fitting jacket and in fitting trousers, and we make as many adjustments to that as possible. We have a lot of adjustments that we can make, so we can get a very precise fit, but it's not exactly the same as bespoke when they will start from scratch. So when someone in bespoke is making a suit, they will lay out a piece of paper and they will have a piece of chalk and your measurements, and they will come up with something straight from their head. That does lead to a slightly different outcome. Of course, most men can get something that fits them very well. I would say all men can get something that's going to fit them very well, made to measure. But bespoke is always going to be very slightly more personal, slightly more unique, and it also involves more fittings because of that. So in Månedens, since we're starting with fitting garments, we don't have to do 2 or 3 fittings throughout the process, at least usually. Whereas in bespoke, since it's something that the cutter has just come up with in his brain, he wants to see it on you 2 or 3 times throughout the making process so he can make sure he's along the right lines. So that does mean that the delivery times for bespoke are often around 3 months, 3 or 4 months, whereas for made to measure now we've got the delivery times down, sometimes below 6 weeks. So of course bespoke costs more because there's far more man hours in there, but if you're in a hurry, if you've only got a couple of months, it's just not going to be an option.
And it's what do you say is bespoke will be around 20,000 kroner?
Yeah, it's probably 3 or 4, at least 3 or 4 times more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean in the UK it wouldn't be completely, in fact it would be fairly standard for a bespoke suit to cost around 60,000 kroner in the same fabric that you're wearing.
How much?
Now. 60,000.
60?
60,000. Yeah.
60?
60. In the exact same fabric as you're wearing right now.
60,000.
Yeah. So.
But okay, but I've been in London many times, sitting in the Dunhill store, smoking cigars, watching out the window, and it's only Bugattis and Fry's driving by. I guess if you go to a bespoke tailor, I know there's a couple in Frederiksberg. I think there the price will be around 20, 25.
Yes. I know in Denmark the prices are a little more reasonable.
If you are in the money district in London, everything is just fucking expensive.
And of course, people are willing to pay more to have the Savile Row label on the inside of their jacket.
Of course.
Which is why so many companies have addresses on Savile Row so that they can put that on the inside of the suits.
Yeah, I saw actually at your store there was some fabrics with Savile Row.
In fact, I think the fabric that we're wearing has Savile Row written in the label. Okay. Because
they have like a small 2 square feet office or something there.
Not quite like that. They have, but they do. They have their offices on Savile Row so that they can use the Savile Row name, because ultimately that's what people want to buy into. They want to buy into the history and the heritage of London tailoring. And it's a very worthwhile history, I think, to buy into, and to, if you are passionate about clothing, it really is the holy grail. But as I say, it requires a significant investment of both time and money, which some people just don't have.
I would say 60,000 for a suit, even though in Savile Row.
It's a lot.
Maybe for a very special occasion.
Yeah.
But just for a normal going to the Mouse and Elephant, looking sharp, I'm okay with 6,000 to 7,000 for a
Unless
suit.
you're using 1,000 kroner notes as toilet paper, I don't think it's really a worthwhile investment.
But that's another thing that we always discuss, because there's very different views on if you go to a smoking lounge like here where everybody smokes cigarettes, cigars, whatever. Not whatever, because that's the only thing we smoke.
There's no crack in Musen.
and no pipes actually either, because
unless I'm there.
Of course, if you smoke a pipe, but rarely there's a pipe smoker.
Yes.
I was just going to say that pipe smokers was cheap, but
we are. I will gladly confess that it's at the end of the month that I start smoking a pipe. You'll never see me smoking my pipe at the beginning of the month.
No, they're sitting with the big, expensive Cubans, and then we just go down to 2 grams of pipe tobacco. Yes.
Yeah, and I can stretch it out for a long time.
As a true pipe smoker.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, so that was our going to was actually that some people think, well, it's mostly their girlfriends who say, oh, your jacket smells of cigars. I never had a problem. My suits are hanging out here, my jackets, or I never smell any smoke in my jackets.
Neither do I.
Neither do you?
No. I mean, I visit Musen a few times a week.
Yeah, and you always wear.
Yeah, and I always wear suits. And yeah, I think if you're wearing lots of polyester, smells can cling to it. But wool, and to a certain degree as well, cotton, and then other things like bamboo and linen, they have natural oils in them that deflect scents. So really, I can just hang my suits up after an evening in the bar, and then the next day I can wear them to work, and they don't smell of tobacco at all. Especially if you've got an open window.
Yeah.
It's really never been an issue for me. The only thing I would say is cotton isn't quite as good. So if you're wearing chinos, after a couple of times they might have to go in the wash. But I think for wool suits, I've never had a problem, and I've got some that I've probably, in fact this suit here I've probably worn to Moosin, I don't know, 50 times since I got it, and it doesn't smell any different to the day that I bought it.
It's funny because
other than in the armpits.
I have this discussion many times with guys coming here, friends and people from the cigar club or whatever, that tells me that when they arrive home they have to hang their jacket somewhere, like
in the garden,
in the shed, you know, or somewhere before they're allowed, you know, to because they smell of tobacco. And I'm always like, I cannot smell it. And I actually have, even though I smoke cigars, I have a good smell because that's my job to smell. And my girlfriend also cannot detect any smoke in my jackets.
Unless she wants to.
see, that's the point I always say, the guys who comes with that problem. I say, I think it's because she know you went to this bar, she will always say, you smell of smoke.
Yeah.
Because you don't really smell of smoke.
No.
Really?
No.
Because, you know.
I've never tried that.
Good, it's good to hear. And this is actually not a staged question because we didn't talk about this before.
No, we didn't. I've not been handed any money under the table.
That was actually, but I had this, I was just interested to hear your opinion because you wear a suit.
I do.
Every time, every day, almost at Moosin.
I think
you have this
you've only seen me without a suit on once. I wore a jumper to the bar. Jesper went crazy.
That was a scary moment.
It was.
I almost didn't recognize you.
Yeah. Even more impactful than a haircut is when I'm not wearing a jacket. People just can't tell who I am. It's quite nice. If I want to come in here and not have anyone speak to me, I just wear a jacket. Now I know the trick, to be undisturbed.
Yeah, exactly. Wear a hoodie or something.
Who's this guy in the bar? It's not Daniel. Guess I'll ignore him.
This is a nice cigar. But it's something really you could smoke another day? Or
I think so, and I'm going to have to really if I want to get the practice in.
Oh, fuck yeah, right, that's true.
But I'm going to enjoy it. I think that's the main thing. I almost hope that I wouldn't, because then I can smoke it slower.
That's true.
If every puff is a chore, then I could probably make this last at least another 30 minutes compared to if I'm enjoying it.
If it's the end of the month, you can smoke this in 3 hours, I guess.
Yes.
So you should only practice at the end of the month.
And then.
So instead of smoking your pipe,
slowly,
you should actually practice always in last week of the month.
Definitely, just buy one of these and sip on it very slowly. Yeah.
That was a good pointer.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're also doing this in one take today. Normally we break it in three, but because it was a little smaller cigar than normally, we're gonna do this in like a 1 hour take.
True professionalism, one take.
Exactly.
No recuts.
I don't think we ever did that actually. Because we want this to be like a very relaxed YouTube cigar video, because there's plenty of American YouTubers who's very serious about all the notes and giving like points and try to get a lot of advertising money and stuff like that.
Yes.
And this program is only made for you guys. And it's not made for, because if we start doing it in English, maybe we could get a little more viewers than we have today. Today we have like 300 or 400 viewers each video.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's not a lot. It's not the goal with these videos.
Yeah.
But it's the funny thing when I see these YouTubers talking very seriously about the cigars.
Yeah.
I probably visit more cigar factories than all the American YouTubers together. But
because they're not allowed in Cuba.
Well, I only went to Cuba 3 or 4 times, but Dominican Republic, Honduras, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, of course, I've been so many times in hundreds of factories.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not about, you said earlier, you're not good at detecting. Of course, we can detect some notes in the basic notes in the cigar, but for me, it's most important that I can taste where the cigar is from.
Yes.
What leaves I'm smoking and stuff like that. That's what I trained me to do. Not all the different notes, but I can always guess which wrapper it is, what country it's from, or something. That's where my expertise lies, and that's why I think it's funny, because even you like the cigar, you don't.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Exactly.
it's easy at that like that. So, what are you gonna? That's why I ask, are you gonna smoke that cigar again? Because that's the question is like, do you like the cigar or not?
Yeah.
If you don't really like it, you say, okay, that was a nice experience. I'm not gonna smoke it again, but it was a nice experience, and then just make me sure that the 10 cigars that I have on my top 10 list is still my 10 to go to cigars. But it could also be that it moved in instead of one of the others that was on the list.
Yeah.
And that's why we have this membership where people, some like it, some don't, but the people hang on to this membership that we have while we're sitting here today, is that you try different cigars that you normally wouldn't buy, and you train your palate, and you get different notes on your palate, and you taste different wrappers, different countries, different feels, instead of just smoking the same 10 cigars all the time.
Yes, well, I've told the story before of the greatest mistake that I made when I first got into smoking cigars. I bought a box of double Edmundos.
The whole box?
A full box. I think I have to say that I was 18 when I made that purchase. So I was 18, camera. Dear audience, dear viewer, I was 18. And I bought this box, and then I just didn't smoke anything else. I had probably only smoked once a month, so I didn't smoke anything else for a year. I only had a double Edmundo, and I didn't know what I liked. So every time I was smoking it thinking, I'm smoking the best, so I have to like this. This is what cigars are. And then as soon as that box ran out, I remember I saved one for my trip to Copenhagen when I first moved here. So the last of that box was smoked in this bar on my first visit. And then ever since, I've not smoked another one. Because I tried other things. I think something that lots of people make the mistake of is investing very heavily into a very nice box of cigars before they've developed a taste. And it's something that I really regret, because I could have bought, I don't know, probably 25 or 30 Grand Cafés for the price of that box. And I could have bought probably between 5 and 10 of each of my top 10 favorite cigars before I came to the price of that box. It was unbelievably expensive with all the taxes in the UK.
Oh yeah.
And not worth the money, in my opinion.
But we all start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you had your opinion about, because you also had like a granddad who was in the tobacco business, right?
Yes, my great-grandfather was the head of the, what was it called?
Tobacco organization.
Yeah, some tobacco association in the UK. I doubt any of you will know him by name, but Frederick Sheridan Johnson. And he also owned a tobacconist and confectionery in the northeast of England. So it was the Wholesale Tobacco Association, or the National Tobacco Wholesale Association, I think it was called, that he was the head of.
Sounds right.
And so that's how I got into smoking cigars. When I was 16, I did not buy, but I was given, which is completely legal in the UK, 20 very old, I think Puerto Rican, or not Puerto Rican, like some lesser known New World cigar.
Costa Rica? No?
I think it was Costa Rica. It was a very small company. I can't remember. I think they were actually called Don Ramos.
What?
The company, yeah.
That's my middle name.
Really?
I've been called Don Rammer for many years. It's true.
Wow.
Even the first cigar I made with Rocky Patel, when I visited his factory the first time, I labeled it Don Rammer.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay,
That's amazing.
Sidetrack.
So yeah, I was given this. It wasn't even a box. It was a plastic bag with 20, I think, fairly affordable Don Ramos cigars in them, and I smoked my way through them. Decided that I liked cigars. Bought the Double Edmundo, but they were the last remaining stock from my great grandfathers and then my great uncles, tobacconists. So yeah, that's how I got into cigars, and of course trying to be rebellious but not wanting to smoke weed. Where else do you go as a teenager than cigars? Didn't like the taste of cigarettes that much. Didn't want to smoke weed because I think it's gross. So
you can never say that. You can never sit here and say that teenagers start smoking cigars.
Exactly.
It's because that's the whole thing the government try to stop, is that teenagers start smoking.
Yeah.
So, and we always says that's cigarettes. It's not cigars. No teenager will start smoking cigars, right?
Well, so they say.
So you did all the good. No, that was not a mistake, of course. That was just inheritance you had.
Yeah,
start smoking.
Exactly.
You smoked your inheritance.
I did. Yes, I did. And then ever since, I've just been completely in love with the hobby. I really enjoy it, and I think it's a great way of meeting new people as well. Cigars have a fantastic way of bringing together interesting people. I know that's how we met. It's how I met almost all of my now close friends in Denmark.
I know that we have several through the times. This is running on the 9th year I'm here at the Mouse. We have several expats working in Denmark that the first place they went was here.
Yeah.
And they are still here. And that was the first network they had in a foreign country where they didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
And that's the way, that's what cigars really can do.
Definitely, and I would say I'm definitely among them. In fact, this is the first place I went, and it's also the only place that I go, to be honest. I just love it here.
Yeah, of course. You have your whole network here now, and you can smoke.
Yes.
It's a nice place. It fits.
Yeah, and the beer's not too bad either.
The beer's cheap.
It is. Night pay. Thank goodness for night pay. Thank the Lord for night pay.
Oh yes. Are we getting to the end of this? Well, I am. I'll get.
Yes, I have slowed up a little.
Yeah, nice.
I know.
But it goes. It's nice just to the end.
It is. It's not intensified greatly in the last third, which I'm really enjoying.
Yeah, so we have two events now that we talked about today. You have to take a look into. Is the 1st of April. We're gonna do some suits and some shirts.
Some suits.
And some sushi and some beers and some fun at Moosen afterwards.
Yes,
lots and we have the 12th of August. Right now there's early bird tickets already for sale. And they're 1,200 right now, and they're going to be a little more expensive when we get closer to the summer. I can really feel the price increase from May last year when we had the event. For everything is just fucking crazy. So trying to keep it at the same price, but people will have to buy their own drink for the main menu in the evening. So that will be, like normally there will be whiskey, rum tastings, where of course we get a lot of samples. There will be some beer for the lunch and stuff like that, but in between people will have to buy their own drinks. There will be a bar set up, even bigger than last year. I hopefully don't need to stand in the bar. I was the barkeeper the whole time last year because there was one of my girls that I was going to help had to leave after the first hour, so we were a little understaffed.
Right.
So I actually want to be more with the crew this year than just standing in the
and we
bar.
Want you with us.
Exactly, and I want to play more the host this year than I was able to do last year. But it was an amazing event. Everybody was happy. The food from Morten, our chef, was fantastic.
Yeah, I heard amazing reviews.
It was just a fantastic day. So, and also we have the VIP event the day before on Friday 11th. We have a VIP event, the same place this year. So together with all the producers will be there, the whiskey guys will be there, so you will get more exclusive time with all these people if you buy a ticket for the VIP event the day before.
Yeah.
So this is the setup. I'm probably going to talk about this event.
Every broadcast.
Yeah. Of course, until August.
Of course.
Unless, of course, we will be sold out before.
Yeah, which would be excellent.
Yeah. We'll be fine because, it's a big setup for this event, and so we need at least 100 people at the event to make it to go around. So I hope we're gonna be between 100 and 120 people this year.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it'll be a great event. I'm very excited to go. I'm counting on it being excellent because it will be my first official cigar smoking event that I attend. Yeah, unless of course you count a Tuesday here as an official cigar smoking event, in which case I've attended many.
It is somebody. People ask me every week. Yesterday there was a girlfriend of one of my friends' girlfriends. She had a boyfriend. This is very complicated.
Wow.
That smoked cigars. So she asked me, this is very cozy. This is my first time here. My boyfriend really would love this. Which day are you meeting?
Yeah.
And I was just, we have Tuesday, Thursday, and every second Friday. So she's like, okay, so every month, every day.
Yeah.
Yes. You can just take him every day.
Exactly.
We'll be here.
Come on a Wednesday, come on a Saturday as well. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be one of my few Wednesdays at the Mouse today, actually.
Yes.
Because normally...
And mine too. I don't often go on a Wednesday, but it's going to be fun.
Of course. Yeah. But it was nice to having here. I know we are past the hour. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Like 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's normally where we end at on these shows when we are having a good time. But it was fun to have another angle this time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That was what I was trying to say earlier with the difference between this show, this YouTube channel here is that I want people to meet normal people from the cigar club that have something that you can use out there. Like we have all the whiskey, we have the rum, we have everything. And already have the next one planned with Tommy Olesen with the mjød, the Danish mjød he produces. It's gonna be the guest from March.
Right.
So we're back to the alcohol next time. But it's actually nice to have like a small break this time and talk about another thing that is connected with cigar smoking.
Definitely.
Looking dapper.
Yes, an essential part of life, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was nice to having you.
It's been great, and I hope I may in the future have the pleasure of being invited back if I'm well received. So I suppose that's up to you.
You see, that's actually the last thing I wanted to say before we turn off the camera. That you actually we talking about that you should take over my Instagram.
Yes.
Because I have around 5,000 followers. That's actually okay.
It's very okay.
But we want to go bigger.
Yes.
And I'm very bad at Instagram.
Big plans.
I'm very bad. I don't know how I got 5,000 followers, but I post like a picture every year.
Yeah.
So we actually talked about it. You should take over because you're very good at taking pictures together with Dennis also.
Yes.
And makes a very nice Instagram. So if you don't follow me right now, it's Splendid Cigars, actually in one word, at Instagram. There's some nice things already, but in the future...
They will be even nicer, and there will be more of them.
There will be a lot, I guess.
Yes.
Because I know you, I can see what you're doing on your own Instagram or other Instagram stuff you have. So that's going to be a great thing to follow also.
Yes, and I suppose shameless plug for me, I am at Daniel_the_sartorialist on Instagram. If that's difficult to spell, just ask Jesper what it is.
We can make something graphic.
I'm sure
after
we
you
can.
You just give it to Mette afterwards.
I'm sure we can. So, yes, feel free to follow me and come and smoke a cigar with me if you're interesting and not creepy.
Well, the only thing that can ruin a good cigar, is the company next to you.
Exactly.
So, on that note, cheers,
Consider
guys.
this cigar ruined.
Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next month. Thank you,
Farewell.
Daniel.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.